Hello, welcome to another edition of Caribbean Cigar Talk. Today we're reviewing the Hemingway short story by Arturo Fuente. I'm your host Clay, and we're joined by Fernando Rodriguez De Mondesert. Welcome, Fernando.
Thank you, Clay, and thank you, everybody. And we're set up to enjoy a cigar and a nice talk here on our Caribbean network.
All right, well, let's get right into it. Gonna light up. This is one of my favorite sticks. I'm gonna go with your, actually I'm gonna use this one.
Yeah, this is a really nice
The pigtail makes it easy to light.
45-minute smoke. If you're somewhere and you don't have a lot of time and you want a really great smoke and a really good price, this is the best way to go.
Never go wrong with a Fuente. Never.
It lights up immediately. Excellent construction. You get the aromas right off the bat, and really you get a really good amount of smoke from this cigar, which is, regular to Fuente cigars. This particular cigar, you're looking at, like I said, a very well constructed cigar. It lights up immediately with this double figurado, slightly bulb at the point, at the foot of the cigar. It makes the lighting of it really interesting and immediate as soon as that nipple kind of opens up.
Yeah, that little pigtail at the end.
Right.
When of course, it's a very well-regarded, highly regarded cigar, award-winning cigar. Despite its size, when they say short story, it really is a small cigar.
It's a small cigar, but it packs its punch.
It does. It does.
This is a cigar that's a medium smoke at the beginning. You get a really good notes of a mix of slight cedar, white pepper, and your classic tobacco. And this is like
a
the
traditional
Fuente,
Dominican Fuente.
Fuente formula. You get a little bit of earth. You get that wood.
That.
You get that.
I'm picking that up.
You get that classic tobacco, and that's because they use a lot of aged tobacco in their filler, and it comes out right off the bat. Beautifully balanced between the filler, the wrapper, and this is a Cameroon wrapper. It's kind of like a matte colored brown hue to it. Really a beautiful wrapper to look at it. You don't get any types of veins showing, and it really is a work of art. It really is a short story. The Hemingway line is one of my favorite lines on the Fuente side. So it's a good cigar to enjoy. So
Fernando, you're so well known here in the Dominican Republic for your aficionado position and prestige, both in jazz music here and cigar smoking and cigars. Tell us a little bit about how your passions for both jazz and music in general,
right?
That go way back. We don't have to go all the way back, but because you have a huge background in music. But of course, you were raised in the United States, but you've lived here for many years since living in the U.S.
Right.
What do you attribute your passion to music and your passion for cigars and cigar smoking?
Okay, the passion for music comes right from the get-go. As a youngster at home, my father would listen to big band jazz. My mom, on the Spanish side, she used to like the ballad singers of boleros, Spanish boleros from Mexico and Dominican Republic and a couple of the countries around. But she had a particularly love for Frank Sinatra and Nat King Cole. So at home, that's what we would listen to. I left here as a very young kid, and so when we arrived in Hempstead, Long Island in New York, there we were in a community that was quite mixed in as much as
for that time.
Yeah, for that time. A third of the population was Italian, a third was Jewish, whether they came from Poland or from Germany, and the other third was black.
Mm-hmm.
So that mix came out in the music. So, you know, in school we would be listening in the 60s to rock, to rock and roll, to the beginnings of R&B, funk, soul music, and jazz would intertwine into that. Fast forward 1974, I leave New York to Houston to go to college, and there was a really eclectic mix of music as well, because it was a major concert tour stop for all of your genres. So one weekend you could be in heavy rock on a Friday, listening to country western on a Saturday, jazz on a Sunday.
Wow.
The next weekend you would be Earth, Wind and Fire, Chicago, you know. So it was very eclectic.
Very diverse, yeah.
So it was, I remember it was like late September of '74, I was given the album Sunflower by the Milt Jackson Quintet. And I think I always blame that album for having me dive into the deep end of the jazz pool. And after that, you know, jazz kind of like became my favorite genre, and I would never fathom in the 70s that in 2006 I would start my own jazz project here in the Dominican Republic, and have been in it for now coming up to 15 years. Going back to '74, at University of Houston, most of the kids would either, when we would be at parties, were either smoking cigarettes or other things. And I wanted to differentiate myself from the pack. So I started smoking a pipe. So about 2 weeks into my pipe smoking, I ran out of tobacco, so I went to buy some. And the owner of the Briar Shop, which is still there in Houston, I was talking to him, and he goes, "Well, you're from the Dominican Republic. You must have a good story with cigars." And I go, "I've never smoked one." So we went to the back of the shop, and I started smoking cigars, and I've been smoking cigars ever since.
How about that?
So my passion goes into jazz and goes into cigars, basically from that time frame.
Fernando, what makes the Dominican Republic, where we are right now, ground zero for, they call it cigar country, what makes the Dominican Republic such an epicenter for cigar, the cigar industry and cigar making?
Well, the Caribbean islands, basically Cuba and the Dominican Republic being then the biggest, but there's also, because of the Taino Indians, and we're now going back to pre-Columbus times, tobacco was part of the day-to-day life. And they used to make, whether they be smoking tobacco in a pipe or making what they call pachuches, which was just rolling cigar leaves and smoking them. It's been part of the culture, part of it. It also happened in Jamaica, somewhat in Puerto Rico, and in a couple of the lesser Antilles. Tobacco has always been part of it. So when the Spaniards came over, and then, you know, the French and the Dutch and all of that, exporting tobacco from here to the old world was part of it. So basically, we would fast forward from the 1500s to the 1800s. So you got Cuba producing cigars. The first Dominican cigar factory is La Aurora back in 1903. So that's over 100 years. So you've got beautiful land on which to grow tobacco, and then you've got the people involved into making cigars. Our cigar manufacturing was not maybe as well known as Cuba for the longest time. But right now, I would say that Dominican Republic is probably the #1 cigar exporter
Absolutely.
of the countries that are producing cigars on a regular basis.
So Fernando, what are we picking up now? What do you got out of this? We're getting good into the first third.
It's still burning. Excellent. Draw is a perfect draw.
Perfect draw.
You've got a light gray to dark gray ash. It's like in the middle. It's a perfect form ash, so you don't have any flakishness or anything like that. Now I'm getting a little ting of citrus coming into the already cedar, tobacco, and pepperish notes. And this is an interesting smoke because the retrohale is really not aggressive.
No.
But it does leave you with the mixed spices at the tip of the nose. So it's quite a positive experience for the smoke that we're doing.
It's living up to its reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Fernando, talking a little bit about your jazz venues. You have multiple jazz venues that have been around for years around the city. This being probably the most popular. They're all popular, but this is something folks every Friday look forward to. You just resumed after more than a year last weekend. So we're excited to be here for weekend number 2 of the new season for Sunset Jazz Festival, Jazz Lounge. This here is a top venue worldwide, internationally. Talk to us a little bit about the rankings that you've earned over the years.
Well, we started here in December of 2009, and so we're in our 12th season. All About Jazz, which is probably the #1 internet-based jazz
publication
magazine. In 2019, they made their top jazz venues of the world poll, and so everybody started voting, obviously, and we were quite surprised that not only did we make the top 100, we placed number 21 total, number 6 in the world if you take out like the other ones that were from the US. So we were quite proud of being able to come out into the best jazz venues of the world and number 21 total voting.
And number 1 in Latin America, right?
Number 1 of Latin America, and it's been quite an honor, and we've been able to have in all of our posters until they do the next poll, we carry our best venue decal on all our things, and that has made it so that the hotel has also gotten worldwide recognition as being the host of a jazz event that's been right.
And then also you're able to bring visibility and exposure for the artists and the groups, bands that come through. So you made the point before in talking before we recorded here that Dominican artists, fantastic artists, jazz and other genres, but they don't really get out internationally. So you provide an incredible platform for them because of the popularity also of your social accounts and social media platforms that extend this venue.
Yeah,
you want to talk about Facebook,
over the years when we started small at Casa de Teatro down in the Colonial Zone, and basically the idea was twofold. It was to be able to give local bands a stage from where to be able to play. on a weekly basis, which really had died out at that time because jazz has always been kind of like cyclical in this country. So now we've been, 15 years going where we've been able to provide 1, 2, 3, even 4 venues a week. So that gives an opportunity. Average band is a quartet, so you got 20 musicians being able to hit the stage on a weekly basis when we have multiple venues going. But it also provides the jazz fans and the music-loving community being able to listen to the jazz artists from before, jazz artists from now, and the future players that are coming, that they're starting to play now, and the youngsters. So you got a mix of the old lions and the new tigers on the stages. And jazz right now here, even though, like I said, it's not huge like it is in the States, but there is a very good jazz scene in the country. The project, Jazz and Dominicana, has been able to now provide the opportunity for local groups into international festivals. And so over the last few years, we've been able to take jazz groups to play at the Indianapolis Jazz Fest in Indianapolis, the South Florida Dominican Jazz Festival, which I started in Miami, a couple of jazz festivals in New York and in Massachusetts.
Awesome.
But then we've been able to go to the Panama Jazz Festival,
oh, that's awesome.
Mount Hawks Jazz Festival, which is in Colombia, the Barranquilla Jazz Festival, which is in Colombia as well. So we're getting a lot of exposure now for Dominican artists, and obviously the idea is to continue to be able to do this and to export our jazz to other countries, especially into the U.S.
And Jazz and Dominicana, your website, and N is E-N.
Right.
And not I-N, but jazzindominicana.com.
Right.
.com, the website, blog. You've been writing that blog for many years.
Yes.
It is an award-winning, recognized, renowned blog. You recently were honored for it. You've written several books. You have a new book coming out, book number 3 or 4. And also, talk to us a little bit about that recognition, as well as recently you were honored by the great Herbie Hancock.
Yes.
What was that all about?
Well, basically, in 2019. I entered my blog into the global blog competition, and lo and behold, I was one of the 7 winners. So one of the prizes was the publication of a book. So when we went back, I published my first book, Jazz and Dominicana, the interview series of 2019. That led to 2 other books, Women in Jazz in the Dominican Republic and the Interview 2020 series. So at the end of this year, when I finish the year, the 2021 interview series, that'll go on. So by the time January of next year comes around, it'll be the 4th book. And I have written the books in Spanish and in English with the addition of augmented reality files in the book. So the people that are listening, that are reading it, can scan the book through the QR code and listen to who they're reading about at the same time. So that was a tool that I created to be able to further promote jazz in the Dominican Republic to the world. So if somebody's reading about Jonathan Pina de Luc, the sax player that's on tonight, if they're reading about him in Poland, they can listen to his music at the same time that they're reading it. And the reason why I did it in Spanish and in English is just so that it widened the base of possible readers from just Spanish to Spanish and English readers.
Fernando, on the draw, how about the amount of smoke? Talk to us about that. I mean, the amount of smoke is classic Fuente.
It's classic Fuente, and you know, it just enhances everything on it. The burn, check out this burn. I mean, this is a beautiful burn.
Beautiful.
Haven't had to drop the ash yet.
Not at all.
It's a firm ash.
What a great smoke.
And it continues. Now that we're into the second third, it's picked up a little bit further. So we would have to say that it's on the higher side of medium.
Sure.
It doesn't go into full yet, but it's a beautiful smoke.
It's not abrupt. It doesn't knock you over.
No.
Yeah.
No.
This is fantastic.
And for being a short smoke, it really packs a nice wallop to it.
Yeah,
And
it does.
it leaves you feeling as though you're really enjoying a superb smoke.
Fernando, tell us about Smoking 7. What is Smoking 7?
Well, basically, it's a group of 7 friends that about 6 years ago we started to. We wanted to make a difference within the smoking groups that are in the DR. Normally, the smoking groups get together, enjoy a smoke. They might visit a factory, come, get a tour, smoke a couple of cigars, and come back. We wanted to give the factory something back in return for what they're doing for us. So basically, we started doing cigar tastings. And these tastings, we would send it back to the factories with complete description of the smoke, pictures of the smoke. And they actually enjoyed getting feedback from externals or from third party, in this case consumers, that they were not getting in such an organized manner. Instead of just getting an Instagram post, hey, I loved your smoke. No, they're getting a feedback of a full smoke, how it goes pre-cut into first, third, second, third, and an organoleptic analysis, and then we do a complete, we resume what the entire smoking experience was. We go ahead and give it a 0 to 100 rating on it, and we've been pretty much spot on with your bigger half wheel, cigar co-op, even cigar aficionado. For instance, when La Aurora 107 Nicaragua came out, we were the first ones to do a tasting, and we punched it in at 92, and lo and behold, the other tastings by these internationally recognized entities, publications, and all that, they were all coming in at 92 as well. So, we felt really good about it, and that's basically what we do. We've got our blog page as well, smoking7.com, and Instagram and Facebook. And basically, what we do is we share our experiences with the factories and also with our fellow smokers. And it's kind of like a different way of going about doing things, but we wanted to be able to give back to the factories and give back to our beloved, passionate smoking communities something more than just a picture, So that's what Smoking 7's all about.
Awesome. Well, jazz promoter, Dominican jazz promoter, and cigar aficionado, impresario in jazz and music and cigars, Fernando Rodriguez De Mondesert. We want to thank you for joining us here on Caribbean Cigar Talk. They can find your books on Amazon. Is that?
Yeah, the books are on the Amazon bookstore, all 3 of them. And hopefully, like I said, at the end of the year, I'll be finishing up. Since it's a publication of the interviews that I do in my webpage during the year, I wait to the end of the year just in case I have more interviews that I publish September, October, November, and then I'll send it off. So hopefully end of January, beginning of February of next year, book 4 will come out. To me, it's something that I'm trying to give back in a way for all the years of enjoying the music. So between the interview series and the book on women, pretty much close to 100 Dominican jazz artists have either been interviewed or their biographies have been put into these books. So it kind of like opens a window for people locally and internationally to look into what the jazz scene in the Dominican Republic is like.
Well, thank you for an eye into that and a look at cigar industry and cigars in the Dominican Republic. We want to thank you for joining us today on Caribbean Cigar Talk. Be sure to like, subscribe to this channel, share this video, and we look forward to joining us again on another episode here